Hello, bonjour everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cyril. I used to be a stem cell researcher for many years, and this is why I can tell you about the science behind skincare ingredient. And for today's video, we are going to talk about hyaluronic acid. And currently there is a trend that makes you think that hyaluronic acid could be very damaging to the skin. And this is what we are going to talk about today. And of course, I'm going to start simply by telling you a little bit more about hyaluronic acid and what is it exactly. So hyaluronic acid, if I put it super simply, is a sort of complex sugar, and it is what we call a polymer. So a polymer is a molecule that is made of the same unit that is going to attach a second one, a third one, and etc. and etc. And this is going to form a polymer. Another good example of polymers in biology is simply proteins. Proteins are made of different amino acids that are linked together. And with this, you have different type of protein. Anyway, so hyaluronic acid is found in different places in our body. You find it, of course, in our skin, in the dermis, but also in the epidermis. Most of the hyaluronic acid that you find in the epidermis is intracellular. You almost don't find hyaluronic acid on the very top surface of the skin, which is the stratum corneum, also known as the skin barrier, but you do find it underneath. You also find a lot of hyaluronic acid in the joint area and in other places. Hyaluronic acid plays a crucial role in biology for many cellular pathways. So some of them, and especially on the skin, is simply the hydration of the different layers. So in the dermis, but also in the epidermis. It also plays a role as a cell signaling message, so it helps to signal to the cell that something is going on, especially during inflammation. It is also involved in the skin healing process. So basically, when you cut yourself, your skin is going to produce a small fragment of hyaluronic acid that is going to participate to the healing of the skin. It also participates in cell migration and etc. So it has a complex role in the body. Also, something that is extremely important with hyaluronic acid is that you also find it in all the mammals and also in what we call in biology prokaryotes, which are basically bacteria, for example. So this is a very conserved molecule among all living organisms, and this really highlights the fact that it is extremely important. So, like I have said, you find hyaluronic acid in the skin, of course, in the dermis, in what we call the extracellular matrix. What a complex name, but basically, if you look at the matrix, this is a sort of complex gel that is at the same time very elastic, very squishy, and we think that hyaluronic acid is one of those molecules that helps the hyaluronic acid to be really to help the dermis to be really bouncy. And in the extracellular matrix from the dermis, this is also where you find the collagen, the elastin, also a complex protein that we name proteoglycans, and etc. And all those molecules are participate to make your skin bouncy, stretchy, elastic, and also at the same time very resistant. In the epidermis, we also find hyaluronic acid. This is something that I don't think that is commonly known, but you also find it in the epidermis, and this is very important because the epidermis layer, there is no vascular vessels in the epidermis, and therefore the epidermis needs to draw its water from the dermis. And here the hyaluronic acid is thought to play one of these roles. There is also other type of proteins that we name aquaporins that are going to help to channel this water and to make the water travel into the epidermis, and all I have said is below the skin barrier, of course. Something that I also think that most people doesn't know is that in biology there is nothing that is really static. So for example, if you look at the dermis, at the collagen, the elastin, and also the hyaluronic acid, it is not something that you produce once that will stay like this, and if it is damaged, it will be replaced. No. Constantly, those molecules are going to be degraded and reform at the same time. But of course, if there is especially UV and damage from the environment, you are just going to increase the aging process. But for the hyaluronic acid, for example, but it's the same for collagen, elastin, and etc., it is constantly degraded and we form again. And we think that during only one day, 1/3 of our hyaluronic acid is degraded and renew. This is something that you need to keep into your head. I've always found those kind of stuff very fascinating. So hyaluronic acid is used to treat many things. It is used in medicine, especially for people who have problems with their joint. We can inject hyaluronic acid inside the joints to help to lubricate the joining. And I know that there are also other aspects that may help. It is also used in medicine to help to heal the skin, especially during a burning. And of course, it is used in skincare and in anti-aging and aesthetics medicine in the form of injection. And by the way, if you are considering to have any fillers done with hyaluronic acid, please go and see a doctor and not a nurse. If something happens, you need to be in the hand of a doctor and not of a nurse. I strongly discourage you to do this. Also, if the price point is very low, just run away, because a syringe of filler costs a fortune. And this is normal because this is a pharmaceutics product that is meant to be injected in the skin. Now, of course, the other use is simply in skincare, and when we jump in the world of skincare, a lot of misinformation are floated around. So something that I often tell you in this channel is that when you are doing your skincare routine, a key element is to hydrate and moisturize your skin. And the hydration, so to increase the level of water in the skin barrier, in the very last layer of your skin, where I've just said that you don't have hyaluronic acid, you need humectants. So those type of molecules that are really going to attract the water in, and then depending on your skin type and also where you live, you will need something like to really lock in this water that has been attracted. If you don't do this, if you just apply a product such as this one, the Premium Lotion from Meda Labo, or it also could be the essence from Meda Labo, or the ordinary, the hyaluronic acid 2%, or the new ampoule from Esvera, the ampoule B, all of those contain hyaluronic acid. If you apply them just after washing your face, for example, in the morning, and you don't apply any moisturizer, for most of you, 1 hour after, your skin will be super dry. It's not because the hyaluronic acid has dried out your skin, it's simply because the hyaluronic acid in those products has locked some of the water in the product inside your skin, but it is only temporary. If you don't use an emollient and or an occlusive on top to really lock in this water will evaporate. Why? Because the water content in the air is so low that the water will simply evaporate. So the effect of humectants, whether it is hyaluronic acid, glycerin, amino acid, or whatever, are only temporary. So of course, hyaluronic acid is one of the best because it has a very strong affinity for water and really attracts a lot of water, but it's not going to last unless you have super oily skin. In that case, your natural emollient and occlusive will lock in this water, or simply because you are living in a country with a very high content of humidity. So in skincare, in order to have a good humectant for hyaluronic acid, you need a very big molecules, because the bigger the hyaluronic acid is and the more it's going to attract this water, the smallest and the less it will be efficient. There are also some reports that have shown actually that very low molecular weight hyaluronic acid, so basically tiny hyaluronic acid, are efficient to penetrate into the skin and especially into the epidermis. And this is what we are going to talk about right now, because indeed there are also some reports that show that the low molecular weight hyaluronic acid, so the tiny hyaluronic acid, could be inflammatory, and this is what we are going to talk about right now. So to my knowledge, the first study was performed in 2007 by Velker, where they basically use an in vitro system where they use what we call melanoma cell line. So a cell line is cells that are derived from human in that case. So this was from a cancer, from melanoma, that are cultivated into a petri dish. So they are very useful because you have plenty of cells and they are a little bit like skin-like, but of course a melanocyte is not a keratinocyte, and most of our cells in the epidermis are from the keratinocyte family. And what they have shown is that using this cell line, if you use low molecular weight hyaluronic acid, those melanocytes, so this cell line in particular, is going to express some inflammatory cytokines, which we know are involved in the inflammatory process. So just from the beginning, there are some stuff that are not really correct. First of all, why use a melanoma cell line and not a keratinocyte cell line? And also, where are the in vivo data? Because in science, it is always easier to start with an in vitro system because you have plenty of cells. Because you have plenty of cells, you can use also a huge quantity of the ingredient that you want to test. So that is very easy. But at the same time, it does not recapitulate it at all what really happens in our skin. And like I have said, our epidermis is mainly made of keratinocyte and non-melanocyte. Also, it doesn't tell you much about if low molecular weight hyaluronic acid can penetrate the skin or not. But this, I would say, was the starting point. A bit later, another study was done, this time using, again, an in vitro system, but a much clever one, which is reconstitute human epidermis. So in that case, this is an in vitro model that aims to reconstitute the epidermis of your skin. And in that case, when they have used low molecular weight hyaluronic acid, what they have shown is that the low molecular weight molecular acid that is between 50 kilodalton. So kilodalton is just a way to weight the molecule, like you weight yourself using kilos, or you are weighting yourself using the stone or etc. Whatever the system. For molecule, we use the Dalton system. So 50 kilodalton is a very tiny molecule of hyaluronic acid, but we can go even tinier using lower than 50. And in this paper, what they have shown is that in this in vitro system, it is only the super low molecular weight hyaluronic acid, so below 50 kilodaltons, that have shown to have an inflammatory effect on the skin. And by inflammatory, it was some of the cytokines. And the same team actually have shown that the 50 kilodalton fragments, so the low molecular weight that was not below 50, has also many skin benefits on the skin. So this size did not increase the expression of inflammatory cytokines, but they did increase all the genes that are important for the differentiation of the keratinocytes. So basically to make new epidermal cells and your skin barrier. So they show benefits. And there are also other studies that have simply shown that lower molecular weight hyaluronic acid does improve the look of wrinkles. And some of that has also been done with placebo. So this is, I would say, pretty straightforward. And the whole idea is that if you use low molecular weight hyaluronic acid in a product like that, is that you are going to replenish the hyaluronic acid in your epidermis. And to go along with this, there is a pretty recent paper from 2015 done by SNDB, where they have used techniques to know if low molecular weight hyaluronic acid can penetrate the skin. This is called the Raman spectrometry. And this can help you to know if when you are applying something on the skin, you can see it if it penetrates or not. And what is beautiful in this study, that they have shown that the bigger molecule, which we almost already know, did not penetrate the skin, but however, the low molecular weight, so the 50 kilodalton, like I have said, does penetrate deeply into the epidermis. Last but not least, there are also some papers that were done on patients with different dermatitis, especially one done on seborrheic dermatitis, that have actually shown that a gel containing 0.2% of low molecular weight hyaluronic acid is actually very beneficial and does decrease the inflammation of the skin. And of course, when you have some loosey in vitro data done on a cell line that is really not close to what we already have in the epidermis, aka keratinocyte, and in front of this, you have in vivo data. This is always the in vivo data that have more value compared to the in vitro. So overall, if you are not using a hyaluronic acid product that has a lower fragment than 50 kilodalton, you are perfectly safe, and you don't have to worry. What is also very interesting is that this lower molecular weight hyaluronic acid seems also to have a very nice benefits on the agitation of the epidermis, so below your skin barrier, which is fantastic. Of course, like always, if you try a product, whether it contains hyaluronic acid or not, and you see that your skin starts to be inflamed, inflamed and imbalanced and you have some tenderness, sensitization and etc., just stop using this product and then ask yourself what could be the ingredient that inflames your skin. If you're using other product that does contain hyaluronic acid and you are perfectly fine with them, most likely it will be another ingredient that did trigger this inflammation. So some hyaluronic acid product that I've loved without any surprise. I love the Adelaide the Premium Lotion. Also, you can try the Essence that combines hyaluronic acid plus glycerin. They are super affordable. If you want another very affordable formula, try The Ordinary, the hyaluronic acid 2%. It is also an excellent one. Probably one of my most recent discovery, if you can get your hand on, is the new Ampoule B from SVR, because it contains 2% of hyaluronic acid and also 5% of niacinamide, which is also an excellent ingredient for the skin, and you can definitely check my video about niacinamide. So I hope with this video you have learned a little bit more about hyaluronic acid, that you are no longer worried about it, because most of the data actually demonstrate that it is, whatever the size, is beneficial for the skin. Like I said, if you react to a product, just stop using it. It makes absolutely no sense to keep on using them. I thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, please thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new and to ring the little bell to not miss any of my new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram. I have plenty of stuff over there, especially in my stories, so definitely go and check it out. Thank you for being here and I will see you next time. Bye bye.